Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another wrap up of the month. I read this month, well technically it's last month, I read 12 books. I'll put my stats up as you can see, and you can definitely see the difference in the ratings and how much of a variety it is. I've been going through it in September, I really have, and first things first, I will say that I nearly hit a reading slump, and I mean like proper reading slump. I dodged it, thank God, because for the last 6 months or so I've been dodging my reading slump left and right. Don't know what to tell you. Some of the books I read were, I want to say shocker, because I did not expect the rating to be either high or low or average. But anyways, I think I might start with my paperbacks. I have only two. The third one I actually gave to one of my friends to read, so we will start off with maybe the most controversial one, maybe. Listen, I thought I was gonna love this, and I mean I thought I was going to eat this up. This was literally everything that I wanted for my spooky season. Like, it had like a haunting of a ghost, and the main character, she speaks to ghosts. I wanted to love this book so much, to be honest. I really did, and I didn't. I thought this was going to put me in a reading slump, to be fair. I liked some parts, but it literally felt like Hallmark but Halloween edition, and I was just like, the humor was just so dry, the one-liners, the puns, and I was just like, and I'm scared, like, people love this author for what? I don't know. I just really wanted to love this, and I didn't, and I just didn't really understand the hype of this, or even with the author. Alright, and the next book, it's Dark Academia vibes, and it's like a murder mystery kind of a vibe, and I love this one. I gave this one 4 stars. I felt like it was really good, especially the quotes, and I actually made a video about this because I did not understand. I don't remember. I read Silent Patient, right, and I just don't remember a Silent Patient being worded so well as this one was, and the quotes I was eating up, in all fairness, and the plot was good. I thought it was good enough, and I feel like it's perfect for anyone who's trying to get into thrillers. I felt like I was, I don't know, being educated a little bit with the kind of things I was highlighting. It just, I really enjoyed this one because it's just from such a psychological point of view, and I really like the psychological quotes. She was someone's friend, someone's daughter. That was the horror of it. We all secretly hope that tragedy will only ever happen to other people, but Mariana knew sooner or later happens to you. I just want to say I really enjoyed this one. The college fall-esque murder vibes were really impeccable, and I just really enjoyed this one. The vibes are right. It was the right book at the right time, and she's a therapist, basically like a group therapist, who is heading to college, where she actually used to go to college, and her niece goes to that college, and she just calls her and says, listen, my friend has been murdered, and can you come down, basically help her deal with that kind of thing. And it's funny because like this therapist is trying to solve the murder, and I'm like, and I was just like, how are you going to solve it? Like, you're not a detective. Like that part really got me. I was just like, no way. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and right book, right time. Alright, then I had read The Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I want to say, surprisingly, I really enjoyed this one. So I thought I wasn't going to like Funny Story because the first book that I read by Emily Henry is Happy Place, and I personally hated that book. I thought it was so boring. Now I am going to go and read it, or reread it, because I have a feeling that I will actually like that book. Could have been that I was going through a reading slump, to be fair. So I want to give this book a fair shot. Anywho, I had read Beach Read, which was my second book by her, and loved it. Absolutely loved it, and I thought that might have been just maybe a fluke, but since I liked this one, I was just like, you know what, I have a feeling Emily Henry is going to be my new favorite author. And listen, when I heard that he wears Crocs and he's a stoner, I was just like, this isn't going to be for me. Like, how are you going to tell me that this man is a romantic interest? Like, how are you gonna sit there and tell me that? But I feel like that was really taken out of context. Like, there is, you know, actual plot, and I love that. I love that for her. And it is a funny story. The basic And it is a funny story. The funny story about it is, you know, when you're talking about, you know, how you met someone, you explain the story, and this is basically a funny story how she met Miles, who is the main love interest in the book. And so what happens is they both get dumped by these two people who ended up dating one another, and so these ended up being roommates. And that's the funny story. I feel like there's more to it. Like, I'm not describing it as well, but I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like her romance books just hit in a way that they really should hit, and I had a good time with this one. I loved the quotes, loved it. Now this one is gonna be a little bit, oops, sorry, my camera died. Alright, I think this one is going to be another controversial one. I personally wanted to love this one because of the spooky vibes, and you really were getting all these characters who were demons, angels, ghosts, like every single supernatural creature that you could think of. This had that. I want to say Olivie Blake's writing style was not hitting the way that it should have been in this one. Personally, I loved Alone With You in the Ether, my 6-star Infinity Star book. I absolutely love that book to pieces, and this one I felt like I was getting sidetracked. I felt like there was so much filler and a bit too many characters to keep up with, and after 100 pages I switched to a audio version because I could not keep reading this. I felt like it was boring me to death. Funny enough, Masters of Death. And I wanted to love this one, I really did, and I just felt like this one, the story just, I didn't resonate with it. Maybe that's why, but the spooky vibes were there, and it's only 2.5 because I like the atmospheric setting. Alright, this one was kind of helping me get out of my reading slump, and it's The Situationship by Jimenez. And so it's a really short novella, and I mean, like, it's only like 20 something pages long, like really short. And I personally love Jimenez writing style, and I felt like I wish it would have been maybe a little bit longer, maybe if it was even twice as long, like 40-ish something pages, 50-ish. I feel like it would have gotten to the 4-star point. And it's basically how these two characters ended up meeting, because it's part of Just for the Summer, which was her latest release, and this one is basically about two of the characters that take place in that book, and she just shows how these two characters met, and I like that. I like that. If you are trying to raise your reading goal for the year, I feel like novellas are such a great way to do it. Alright, the things we left behind. I had a physical copy. I actually gave it to my best friend to read because she and I are reading the, well, she will be finished with this book series. I have, on the other hand, the middle book to read. I skipped the second one, but I will come back to the second one. Anywho, I did have a physical copy. I don't have a physical copy anymore, is what I'm saying. And the things we left behind, I actually really enjoyed, and I felt like I did relate to some parts, and I did like it, and I think it wrapped up really nicely, the whole series. And I keep going between if I prefer the first one more or this one. I liked the fact that it had childhood friends, obviously the lovers. I feel like at times this was a little too long, but I like the characters, so I was like, okay. I don't know, the whole book is really surrounded around grief and her losing her father, and I don't know. I personally love small town romances. You have a strong found family theme in it, and I loved reading about little Sloane and little Lucian. I think they were just so cute and adorable. Again, I think I prefer the second half of the book than the first. The first was a little slower than I would have liked, but it tied in really nicely. Everything was brought back to the very first interaction of how they met one another or interacted for the first time, and I thought it was really, really adorable. Alright. No for an answer. I personally felt like it was such a cop-out, and I kind of like, I want to say I kind of like the atmospheric, you know, fall-esque vibes again. Dark romances have great fall vibes to them. I want to say I kind of enjoyed it, but then the ending felt such a cop-out, and personally for that I thought it was criminal. And dark romances I feel like are a lot harder to rate, because I don't know what people are rating them on. I don't know, are you rating for vibes? Are you rating for, you know, how much you love the guy in them or the romance? Like, what are you rating the books, like dark romances specifically, so high for? And I personally rate them for vibes. It was my first time reading the author, and I'm not sure that I will be reading anything else by the author. Alright, then I read Heir and Queen of Shadows. Alright, so these are the 4th and the 5th books in the Throne of Glass series, and I personally preferred Queen of Shadows a little bit more than Heir. And I do want to say the series is long. I do like the characters, and with each book you kind of get a bit more wrapped up and a bit more invested, but I feel like personally, I want to say I think I still prefer A Court of Thorns and Roses. They're definitely very heavily plot driven books, and there's a lot happening in them. I can't say much because it's the 4th and the 5th book in the series, but I personally think they are good. I personally like Sarah J. Maas, and I think she writes really great stories. Okay, moving on, we have 2 books I read in the off-campus series, The Deal and The Mistake. So it's book 1 and 2 in the off-campus series, and I want to say this author felt like another overhyped author, and these books felt very overhyped. A lot of people were like saying how this is like the best hockey romance books ever, and I didn't vibe with the writing style. First of all, it felt very Wattpad, and I mean very Wattpad, not in a great way. Okay, let's talk about what was wrong with The Deal. I'm gonna say I liked Garrett and I liked Hannah. I liked how they got together, and I liked the fake dating in it, and I really liked the college atmosphere. However, what irritated me the most was that Hannah had on the very first page, like, she talks about how she was S8 like I think 3 years ago, but the way that she was talking, and I mean the way that the author wrote, the way that Hannah was talking about being S8, and she was just so chill, and she's like, I don't care about it anymore. It happened like 3 years ago. What do you want me to do about it? Cry about it for the rest of my life? I'm sorry, but that really irritated me, because like maybe there is a case where a person really went through it and felt like Hannah did. I don't know, just the way that subject, and I mean that subject was approached, was just uncalled for. I felt like unneeded, unnecessary. And I don't know, it gave me the ick. It really did. And what was wrong with The Mistake, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. Even though this was, I think, a shorter book than the first book, I personally hated, by the end of it, I really hated Grace, who's the main character in this. And Grace was she was lovely when you first got to meet her, and then she just got a makeover, and the way that she was with Logan, the way that she was with Logan after he basically messed up, and I don't know, she just felt like so bratty, and I really didn't like her by the end of it, and she just wasn't redeemed. And I did like Logan. I felt like, yeah, he messed up, but like he wasn't terrible. And also as you know, he was a massive player, but I felt like some parts I feel like were realistic, but then some parts I was just like, there is no way in hell that this would ever happen. And he was just like, you know what, I abstained, I stayed away from any female, I couldn't stop thinking about you, and I was ringing you every single day and you didn't pick up. They weren't even going out when he messed up. They went on like a couple dates, I think it was, and then the next thing you know, no. Oops. I was just like, I can definitely make a video for hockey romance books that I recommend, but this one definitely will not be on the list. Alright, I think that this is the last book actually, and funny enough, this was the first book that I started off the month with, and it's God of Fury. And I think this is actually my first romance book. Personally, I went into it and I was scared. I did not know what to expect. And I say I have really grown on Rina Kent's writing style. I personally really like her writing style and the way that she writes her dark romances. As you can tell, it's a dark romance. I felt like she did such a great job on describing these two characters, and the way that like their personalities suit them so much and so well, and just the way that they went about the whole story and interacting. And I love these two. I love these two. And it's set in college, and again, that atmospheric autumn vibe to it, I love it. And I'm definitely at the point of whatever Rina Kent writes, I will read. I will read. She's gotten to be one of my favorite authors, to be honest. And I love Nico. He's part of the Heathens Club, and he has this personality of a Labrador. When he loves you, and he's just like the sweetest, most humbling guy. And then if he's not vibing with you, you will get the Doberman vibe from him, and I mean, like, you will not get anything out of him. As soon as he started liking Bran, and the first thing that made sense to him was to stalk him. And I mean, like, he was literally inserting him into Bran's life wherever he could. He was bombarding him with messages. A lot of the times I was laughing out loud. I was laughing out loud because I don't know, I just really love these two. And it's definitely spicy, and I mean, for dark romances, it's definitely on the spicier side. Towards the end, it definitely got a lot darker. It went from 0 to 100, and yeah, I don't want to say read trigger warnings. I feel like going to it maybe blindly, and for a dark romance book, I felt like I was expecting dark things because it's a dark romance, obviously. Yeah, so these are the 12 books that I have read in the month of September. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.